Hello and welcome to the ComSpire Magazine interview series. I am David Goodwin, managing partner and co-founder of Advanced Technology Consulting. We do business in the market as ATC, and we are proud to partner with ComSpire Magazine in a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Paul Grone, Vice President and CIO at the Christ Hospital. Welcome, Paul.
Thanks, David. Glad to be here.
So if we want to transition right into the questions, we'll get down to it. And our series today is on digital transformation. So I'm going to kind of ask some questions and let you respond to those and your experience and how it relates to the Christ Hospital. And my first question on the list is, what do you feel is driving organizations to transform?
Well, thanks, David. Obviously a popular topic these days. I would say that there are just a few general themes. One is just overall competitiveness. If you think of the pressure on margin, if you think of having to drive cost, businesses are going to have to find new, different, better, more efficient ways of doing things. So eliminate drag on the organization, whether it's eliminating phone calls or paper. And the only way to do that is to try to do some digital transformation. There's no such thing as status quo in a competitive space. I think the second thing that's really driving it is consumer demand. The consumers are almost forcing us to look at business differently. The tools, giving them better insight, personalization, more options. I think the consumers are demanding that from whether it's retail or healthcare or whatever the business. I believe that we're having to basically meet whatever bar that they're looking for. And I do think in our space, in the healthcare space, we have to worry about some, not just competition, the traditional competition, but some non-traditional competition. We have other companies moving into our space, whether it be consumer medical devices that are trying to get into the healthcare space, virtual care. So video visits can be done from anywhere across the country. So we have some non-traditional, and it's even like our health insurance provider, our health insurance companies are even getting into our space. They're becoming providers themselves, where they're beginning to provide care, not just the insurance. So all those pressures are forcing us to look at our business differently.
And I'm guessing that COVID or the pandemic has done a lot to expedite that transformation.
Well, it certainly has, both internally and externally. So I talk about the consumers, in our case, having to close physician offices, and it forced us to stand up a video visit platform to where we could do virtual visits in a matter of days and weeks. So the consumer needed that, as well as internally, moving our staff and our back office staff to move virtual, forced us to move to implement other technologies fairly quickly. We were already moving down the direction of using Microsoft Teams, but using DocuSign and other technologies like that says we have to become virtual, paperless. At this point, we have, just in my organization, I have team members working in 26 different states. That happened over the past 12 to 18 months. Prior to that, we were all very consolidated here in Cincinnati, where we worked in the office. We had a few people that worked out of the Cincinnati area, but just to retain the talent and in this virtual world, we had to start looking outside the city, and the tools that we implemented allowed us to do that.
Yeah, none of that surprises me. As a technology consulting firm, we're seeing a lot of those same things take place. I mean, your talent pool now is anywhere in the country, right? I mean,
exactly.
And then if you look at the labor pool and how tight it is, you better be able to recruit from anywhere, because you might have a hard time filling some needy positions. So I appreciate you for that. I appreciate your responses on that. I might move into the next question, which is, what do you see as the top digital transformation challenges or DX challenges?
I think we have a couple. Getting back to our consumers, we have consumers. We can't pick and choose our consumers in the healthcare space. We have to serve everyone. So we have some traditional consumers that still like the old way of doing things. They like a phone call, they like paper, they like face to face. We have other emerging consumers that they want to schedule online. They want to do electronic payments. They want to do video visits. So for us, the challenge is, how do we migrate forward, but also support our entire customer base? I'd say another challenge is just change management in general. All of the technologies that we're doing internally require process change, training to achieve the ultimate efficiency. We're seeing massive change throughout our organization, and it's probably at a pace that we're not used to. So that's a challenge. And I think the last would be that sometimes with this digital transformation, our end users, some of their roles actually change, where they need new skill sets. And you have, just for example, you may have someone who used to be a clerk and was more paper-based, if you will, and answering the phone. Now with some of the automation, now they're becoming more of an analyst. So the type of work they do is very different. So we're having to transition skill sets as well.
Yeah, I could see that also coming with a learning curve, right? I mean, you may have some people that have been used to doing it kind of the old way, if you will, for a very long period of time, only to rapidly have to change the way they do things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where do you, great answers. Where would you say the Christ Hospital is in terms of that, your company and your organization's journey on that digital transformation? Where do you think you are?
Yeah, that's a good question. I see a lot of different models out there that try to break this into phases and grade where you are. One of them that I like is there's a model out there. It's kind of like a 5-stage model where you move it from a reactive to somewhere in the middle where you're digitized and connected, and then to the far mature, you're very fully integrated and have a lot of intelligence built in. And I would say we're probably somewhere, if that's a 5-stage model, we're probably somewhere in a 3 to 4 range. And what I mean by that is we are digitized. So we have a lot of digital properties. What we're doing is a lot of when we get into the examples, we're doing a lot of connectivity where we're providing access to those digital assets. And then when we move on to maybe the 5th stage, we'll obviously insert more intelligence, whether that's artificial intelligence or a lot of automation. So I'd say we're somewhere in that maybe 3 to 4 range on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay.
And when you talk about connectivity, could you expand on that maybe?
Yeah.
So talk about being connected to all these different applications.
Yeah, well, I look at I think our core systems that we have, we have an EMR system, which is our electronic medical record for patients and how we run the hospital. We have an ERP system that essentially runs all of our back office. We have imaging systems. These are our core systems. And a lot of the technologies that we have implemented are essentially, it's an architecture where we provide access to those systems better. So whether that's texting, chat, voice, mobile devices, and so on, essentially you're building some applications and technology to better connect and be able to leverage those digital properties.